Welcome to the Beyond Bloated Podcast. I'm Carly, a certified health coach helping women under 50 ditch their bloat without having to follow super strict and stressful protocols. As someone who's struggled with all sorts of digestive issues for over 5 years, I know exactly how you're feeling. I also know that there's a way to feel better, and it doesn't have to involve tons of expensive supplements and insanely restrictive diets. Join me as I share all of my bloat-busting wisdom to help you say goodbye to that bloated belly and regain your confidence. It's time for you to move beyond bloated. Hey guys, I need your help. I am working on something very exciting. It's a resource that is going to be filled with everything you need to know about how to beat your bloat for good. I'm talking meal plans with grocery lists, a recipe book, a symptom tracker, guides, and a handbook that's going to be loaded with actionable steps that you can start taking to start eliminating your bloat immediately in the short term, but also long term. I don't want to give too much away just yet because it's still a work in progress, but I want this resource to be the most game-changing material you have ever laid your eyes on. And for that to happen, I need to know exactly what you need to succeed. So please click the link in the show notes and answer a few key questions about how I can make the most beneficial bloat-busting package for you. It'll take you less than 2 minutes to answer these questions, and the payoff will be that the resource that I put out will be tailored to you because you're the one who told me what you want included. I'm going to listen to what you say because I'm making it for you. So please have your voice heard and have an input on what is going to be included in this resource. If you head to the show notes, there's a link there. Please click it, fill it out. I would really appreciate it, and I can't wait for you guys to see what I'm putting together. Since this magnificent resource is still under construction, I thought today I could give you something to work with while we wait. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 5 everyday habits that contribute to bloating and what to do to change them. The focus is on eliminating bloat, but many of these habits also trigger other symptoms like gas and constipation. As I'm sure you're aware, bloating is rarely a solo symptom. So if you're struggling with frequent uncomfortable bloat or other GI symptoms, listen up and see if these 5 bloat contributors apply to you. As I've mentioned before, it's very easy for us to blame what we are eating on our GI symptoms, but that's just such a small part of the whole picture. Oftentimes, what you are doing in your everyday life, like how you are eating, your physical activity levels, your mindset, everything about your lifestyle is playing more of a factor in your bloating and your other symptoms than simply the food that you ate that day. So it's time for us to change that mindset of what did I eat today that caused me to bloat and think more of how did I eat? What did I do today? What didn't I do today? Things like that. So these 5 habits are not so much focused on what we are consuming, but more so how we are living and how we can improve these 5 aspects to eliminate bloat and other symptoms. Number 1 on the list is eating too quickly. So this is very common, and a lot of us don't even realize that we're doing it. I used to eat at the speed of light. I would be the first one done my meal. I didn't even know that I was eating quickly. It often happens when you're starving, so you've waited too long to eat, and now you're literally starving. So you sit down and you just can't wait to get food in your belly because you're shaking, your stomach's grumbling, like you need to eat. That's one reason. Other people just tend to eat quickly. I mean, everything we do in today's day and age is fast-paced. You know, we're in a meeting, we get out of the meeting, we have 5 minutes in between until our next meeting, so we need to eat really fast. Or we're typing an email out while we're eating, so we're not paying attention to our food or how fast we're eating. We're eating too quickly again. There's lots of reasons why someone would eat too fast. It's very common, but that doesn't mean that is how we should eat just because that's how most people are eating. Eating too quickly means we're not chewing our food well enough. So when we chew our food, it should be applesauce consistency before we swallow to make the digestive process much easier on our guts. If you're already experiencing bloating, gas, other digestive issues, you likely have an impaired digestive tract to some degree. So you really want to make the process of digestion as easy as possible. Our guts don't have teeth. Whatever you're sending down there is what they're going to have to break down. The smaller pieces are going to be way easier to digest and cause less stress on our guts. If we're eating too fast, our brains have not registered that we're full. It takes roughly 20 minutes for the brain to realize that you're full. So if you polish off an entire meal plus dessert in like 10, 15 minutes, it's no wonder our brain hasn't had a chance to sound the full alarm. So we don't even realize that we're full. We keep eating. We're eating super fast. And now we've ate too much. And eating too much too quickly is a sure way to become bloated and experience gas. And lastly, when we're eating super fast, we're also consuming tons of air. So we're just like gulping this stuff down. And at the same time as swallowing the food, we're swallowing copious amounts of air. And that is going into our digestive tract. And that's becoming trapped. Gas trapped in your gut is going to cause bloating. So basically, eating too fast compromises digestion, and it sets the stage for discomfort and bloating. By slowing down and really enjoying your meal, you can alleviate a lot of these issues, and that's going to lead to a more enjoyable and comfortable mealtime experience. If you're struggling to slow down while eating, here are some tips for you. First, practice mindful eating, which is a lot more simple than it sounds. Mindful eating just means you're focusing on the meal in front of you. You're not distracted. You're not watching TV. You're not on your phone. You're not working. You're sitting at the table with your food, no other distractions. You're focused on your meal, and that's kind of what you're thinking about. Like, if you're focused on the food in front of you, you're more likely to realize fullness cues. So you'll pay attention to when you feel, okay, I'm satisfied now. Because that's another thing. We don't want to be eating until we're stuffed. We want to eat until we're satisfied, not stuffed. And if you're focusing on your meal, you're not distracted, you're more likely to pay attention to that. You also want to make a conscious effort to chew your food. So aim for like 20 to 30 chews per mouthful. If you literally have to count it out at first, then count it out. Habits will form the more you do them. So if you have to count to 20 to 30 every time you chew for the first 5 meals that you're doing this, or more, everybody's different, eventually you're just going to do that without having to count. This will improve your digestion and allow you to enjoy your meal. You're really getting that flavor out, you're chewing it, it's going to get sent down to your gut in a nice consistency that's easy to digest. Another one, place your utensil down in between bites. So if you're eating pasta with your fork and you're just shoveling, that's going to be really easy to eat super fast. But if you take a fork full of pasta, put it in your mouth, put your fork down, chew it 20 to 30 times. Once you've swallowed, pick your fork back up, do it again. That's forcing you to eat slower because you don't have a utensil unless you're going to start using your hands. Final tip, set aside time for your meals. This might sound super simple and basic, but we don't really do that a lot of the time. Like I said earlier, we're wolfing down lunch in between meetings when we can fit it in. You're running home from work and you're quickly making dinner and eating it as fast as possible before you have to run out the door and take your kids to their next event. If that's your lifestyle and you're extremely busy, try to plan your meals around a time when you know you're not so busy. Like you have 30 minutes to eat a meal. If you make this dedicated eating time, that way you can make sure you're free from distractions and time constraints. So you're not like, oh my God, I only have 10 minutes to eat. You've set aside 30 minutes. That should be plenty of time for you to eat, chew your food, and enjoy it. And then you can eat without feeling rushed. You can take that extra time to really chew your food. You're not multitasking, trying to get all these other things done while you eat. It's simply a time for eating. that is it. I realize that these changes won't happen overnight, and I suggest that you kind of tackle them one by one. So, start with whatever one you'd like. If you'd want to work on chewing your food first, then make sure you start chewing your food 20 to 30 times. And then once you've kind of developed that habit, pick the next one. I don't think you should throw everything at it at once. That's just going to overwhelm you, and it's going to be really hard to stick with it. I know you can do it because I did it myself. Like I said, I used to eat super fast. I would eat while watching TV. I didn't chew my food. Now, I don't eat with distractions. I actually make sure my phone is not at the table with me to prevent me from reaching over and grabbing it. I chew my food. That's just something that I made a habit. I kept consciously making myself chew your food, and now it just happens naturally. And I set aside time for my meals. I have during the work week, especially specific times. I eat my breakfast at this time, lunch at this time, dinner at this time. And I try to stick to that pretty consistently because I know this is going to give me enough time to eat where I don't feel rushed. So it is possible. I know you can do it. Give them a try and see how it goes. I know at the beginning of this episode, I said that I wasn't going to focus on what you're consuming, but I did lie because this is the only one that I am going to touch on. Number 2, consuming carbonated beverages. So these, I like to call them spicy drinks, spicy bevies. They're like soda pop or pop, soda, whatever you call it, sparkling water, things like that. They come with a not so fun side effect, which is gas. And what's a common cause of bloating? Gas. These drinks contain dissolved carbon dioxide gas, which is released in the form of bubbles when you drink them. So as these bubbles make their way through the digestive system, they can become trapped, and that leads to the uncomfortable bloating feeling. I actually haven't touched a carbonated drink in years. Even before my gut issues appeared, I can't burp. Fun fact. And if you are someone who can burp, you're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? You can't burp. I've never been able to. I can't force it. It doesn't happen by accident. So if I drink anything carbonated, it is extremely uncomfortable. It's like this trapped feeling in my chest. So I had avoided them anyways. If you also can't burp, back me up. Send me a text using the send me a text function in the show notes and let me know that you can't also, because I know there are others out there. It's not just me. Additionally, the additives that are found in carbonated drinks, like artificial sweeteners and high levels of sugar, can destroy our digestive health. These additives disrupt the microbiome, which leads to dysbiosis, which causes increased gas production and exacerbates bloating. If you are someone who experiences a lot of bloating, digestive issues, and you find yourself drinking carbonated drinks very often, I would try cutting back and see how that works for you. It can sometimes be easier to swap out your carbonated beverage with something else other than just cold turkey quitting. So here are some alternatives for you to try. Number 1, I would recommend herbal tea. Specifically, peppermint, ginger, and chamomile teas are very good options that can help aid digestion and alleviate some bloating. Second suggestion, infused water. So if you're someone who doesn't like plain water or you find it boring, if you add slices of fruit like cucumber, lemon, or even berries to your water, it kind of gives it like a refreshing, fun, fruity taste. That can be a replacement for your flavored soda water. Third recommendation, coconut water. This is very rich in electrolytes and low in calories. So coconut water will provide you with hydration and it's flat. So no carbonation in there. And the fourth most obvious recommendation, just plain water. Hydration is obviously important for bloating and relieving constipation. So sipping on some water with a pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt in there is going to optimize the absorption of that water, keep you more hydrated. And honestly, I love water. Water is my favorite drink. Maybe that makes me boring, but it really is. So try swapping out your carbonated drinks for any of these other beverages and see how that impacts your bloating. This third habit ties in with our first habit of eating too quickly. So this one is overeating or eating large meals. As I mentioned earlier, we tend to overeat when we eat too quickly. We also tend to overeat when we wait too long to eat. So now we're starving and we pile tons of food on our plate because our eyes are bigger than our stomachs. And we're like, yeah, I'm going to devour this and eat it as fast as possible. So large amounts of food like that likely have not been chewed well enough and have been eaten way too quickly, are going to overwhelm the digestive system. When we consume these large quantities of food all in one sitting, the stomach has to stretch to accommodate this excess volume, and this can put excessive pressure on the surrounding organs and slow down the digestive process, which can result in bloating, gas, constipation, tons of discomfort. Overall, not good. To prevent bloating caused by eating too much, here are some portion control strategies to try. First one is to use a smaller plate. So if you choose a smaller plate or bowl to naturally limit your portion size, you can also trick your brain into feeling satisfied with a smaller serving by creating the illusion of a full plate, no matter the size. So if you had the same amount of food on a small plate versus a big plate, the big plate's going to look like less food. So your brain is like, oh, this isn't that much food. Whereas if it's like a crammed small plate, your brain is thinking, whoa, this is so much food. I'm so full after eating all of this. So that's a fun trick that you could try. Next, we're going to listen to hunger cues. So I mentioned this earlier. Like I said, it takes the brain 20 minutes approximately to register that it's full. So if we slow down, eat slowly and mindfully, take the time to enjoy our meal, and we stop eating when we feel about 80% full, rather than waiting till you're like absolutely stuffed. This is going to help prevent overeating as well. Another plate trick. So we're going to do something called the half plate rule. So half of your plate is going to be filled with vegetables or salad or whatever variety of greens you want. A quarter is going to be filled with lean protein. So that could be chicken, beef, tofu. And the other quarter is going to be filled with whole grains or starchy vegetables, like quinoa or potatoes, something of that variety. Bonus points if you also add healthy fats. So that could be avocado, or if you have a salad, you could put some olive oil on there. The ideal balanced meal consists of vegetables, proteins, healthy fats, and a grain or a starchy vegetable like potatoes. This is getting all the nutrients that you need because you're getting a wide variety, and you're also keeping your portion size down. If you're sticking to this plate rule, this balanced meal is going to help keep you full for longer. So you're not going to have the desire to eat again shortly afterwards. And that would be another form of overeating if you're consistently eating large meals throughout the day. Next suggestion is to pre-portion your snacks. Have you ever accidentally ate an entire bag of chips? Because I have. Instead of mindlessly snacking from the bag or container while you're watching TV, which we're not supposed to be doing, pre-portion your snacks into smaller servings. Put the chips in a little bowl, eat those, and then no more. Same with like chocolate. Instead of getting the whole chocolate bar, break off a couple pieces, put the chocolate bar away. This helps prevent overeating by providing clear boundaries on portion sizes. If you're eating chips from the bag, it's hard to tell how much you really ate. If you're portioning it out ahead of time, you can visually see the chips in the bowl and think, is this how much I want to eat? You can decide ahead of time how much of the snack you want to eat and then stick to that. So give these strategies a try and see if it helps you decrease your portion sizes, helps prevent you from overeating, large amounts in one sitting. And it might actually help promote a healthier relationship with food as well. And most importantly, it will help improve your digestion and eliminate your bloat. The fourth habit that contributes to bloat is not drinking enough water. I'm sure you've heard this one before, but do you know why hydration is so important when it comes to eliminating your bloat? Water plays a crucial role in various digestive processes, including breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and moving waste through the digestive tract. When we don't drink enough water, our digestive system can become sluggish, leading to constipation, which leads to gas and bloating. Staying hydrated ensures that these processes can function smoothly, promoting digestive health and minimizing the discomfort. If you are someone who wakes up and drinks coffee, and then you go to work and then you drink another coffee, and then you come home from work and you have a glass of wine or a beer, you're not drinking enough water. If you would like to know if you're drinking enough water, try tracking it for a few days. Don't change your habits. Just mark it down every time you drink water, like literally just water, or an electrolyte drink, or like I said earlier, put a pinch of sea salt, high quality sea salt, in your water for better hydration. You may be surprised to learn that you don't drink that much water. Another way that you can kind of check if you're drinking enough water, the color of your urine. If you have dark yellow urine, you're dehydrated. On the flip side of that, if your urine is like clear, completely clear, you may be overdoing it. You want like a nice pale yellow color. That typically indicates a good level of hydration. If you're thinking, yeah, my urine is actually dark yellow, here are some tips for increasing your water intake. First of all, you could try setting reminders. So literally put an alarm on your phone to remind yourself to drink water regularly. However regularly you want, but say every hour you set an alarm and it's like, I should have drank this much water by then. And if you haven't, start drinking. Next, carry a water bottle with you everywhere you go. Everyone these days has an emotional support water bottle. I have one. I bring it with me in the car anytime I go out to run an errand. Obviously, when I go to softball, I have one sitting with me at my desk while I'm working. My water bottle is with me at all times. I'm actually reading a book right now on how to create healthy habits. And in the book, he mentions how visual cues are like our number one way of forming a new habit. So just the fact that you have this water bottle with you and you're looking at it all the time is going to remind you to drink water. You look down when you're driving, you see your water bottle, you're like, oh shit, I need to drink that. You're at your desk typing, in the corner of your eye, you see your water bottle, now you're feeling thirsty. So just have it around and it will encourage you to drink more water. Next, I mentioned this earlier when we were swapping out our carbonated drinks, but if you find water boring, infuse your water. So again, add fruits, herbs, cucumber slices, whatever you want. You can easily Google like infused water recipes if you need some inspiration. That might entice you to drink more water. It's like a fun fruity cocktail without the alcohol. And another little tip that you could do, this isn't going to get you there, but it can help. Incorporate water-rich foods, like eat more fruits and vegetables, because foods like watermelon, cucumber, oranges, and even spinach contain high water content. So this will contribute to your overall hydration levels. Again, if you don't drink water and you just eat cucumber, you're not going to be super hydrated, but it can help. So what's the harm? And you're also adding more fruits and vegetables into your diet, which is never a bad thing. I know it's easy to overlook the power of staying hydrated, but I'm telling you, especially if you suffer with constipation, it can help. And like I said earlier, if your urine is dark yellow and you're constipated, it can really help. Just try it. It's not going to hurt you to drink more water or eat more fruits and vegetables. And it can also be an easy way to replace your carbonated drinks from the earlier point. So give it a go. See how it works for you. The fifth and final habit that I'm going to talk about today is a sedentary lifestyle. We're all guilty of having a lazy day now and again. But if you work a desk job and then you go home and you watch TV for the rest of the night, you are not doing your gut any favors. When we remain inactive for long periods of time, our digestive system slows down, leading to sluggish digestion and an increased likelihood of bloating and discomfort. Also, lack of movement can contribute to poor posture, and the abdominal muscles will weaken, making digestive issues even worse. So to combat the negative effects of sitting all day, we're going to incorporate more movement into our lives. Here are some easy ways to do so. First off, take short walks. So maybe you don't have time to go for an hour-long walk every day, but you have 5 to 10 minute breaks throughout your day. Break up the long periods of sitting by taking those short walks throughout the day. Aim to walk for like 5 to 10 minutes. Every hour would be ideal, but literally whenever you can. I would say the best time to do this would be after a meal. If you are working, you eat your lunch, you go for a quick 10-minute walk, that's going to help stimulate digestion, and it also improves circulation. So you're really decreasing the likelihood of bloat by doing that. Next, for all my desk job people, do some desk exercises. You can incorporate like simple exercises and stretches into your workday to keep your body moving by sitting at your desk. So try like seated leg lifts, shoulder rolls, or you can even look up desk-based yoga. And there are videos to show you how to like do yoga and get a little bit of movement and exercise while sitting at your desk. This can help alleviate some tension and promote blood flow, which can help prevent bloating. Next, seems obvious again, but we just need these simple reminders. Stand up and stretch. So my Fitbit every hour tells me to get 250 steps. And if I don't, when there's 10 minutes left in the hour, it'll buzz and tell me, get up, move, do something. So if you don't have a Fitbit that's yelling at you to get up every hour, you could set a timer on your phone to remind yourself to stand up and stretch or go for that 5 to 10 minute walk. But focus on stretching your back, your shoulders, and your legs to relieve the stiffness and improve your posture. Another thing you could try if you commute, especially, use active transportation. You could walk or bike to work instead of driving. If you live too far to do that, you could try walking or biking. If you have an appointment nearby, or even taking the stairs, things like that, it really does add up, and it does add physical activity to your day. Fun bonus, it will reduce carbon emissions. So you're also helping the environment. And last, but most important, find enjoyable activities. Do not force yourself to go to the gym if you hate the gym. Do not go out and buy a bike if you hate biking. Find things that are physically active that you like doing. I don't like going to the gym, so I don't. Instead, I like going to spin class. I like playing softball. I like working out, lifting weights at home. I get to listen to my own music out loud. I dance around while I do it. I'm more comfortable that way. Find what you enjoy and do that. If working out feels like a chore, you're not going to stick to it. Instead, if it's something fun that you enjoy doing, your brain is going to start to correlate this with a rewarding experience, and you're going to start looking forward to doing it, which means you're going to be way more likely to stick to it. So brainstorm some things, some physical activity ideas that you like doing, and find a way that you can start regularly implementing these into your life. Small changes really start to add up. So slowly, you will begin to improve your digestion and reduce bloating and discomfort. Make sure you're prioritizing movement, and then you will reap the benefits of a more active and bloat-free lifestyle. I hope that you found at least one suggestion that you can start adding into your daily life now. And like I said, don't do everything all at once. That's insanity. Pick something that really stood out to you, something that you think, yeah, I can do that. I want to do that, and see how that goes. Once you've mastered it, pick something else. We don't need to make all the changes at once, but we do need to make sure that the changes we are making are sustainable. If you chew your food for one meal and then you're like, sweet, I did it, I'm never doing that again because it didn't work, that's the wrong mentality. These things are going to take time. You're going to need to do them repeatedly for them to stick and become a legitimate habit. And once you've done them for a while, then you'll start to notice the improvements. We all want a quick fix. I totally get that. But you need to stick to something to see the results. So please try some of these tips and let me know how it goes for you. Send me a text with the button, send me a text, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at beyond.bloated, or you can email me, carlyclose@beyondbloated.com. I can't wait to hear how these tips impact your bloating, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to the Beyond Bloated podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. And don't forget to share this podcast with your fellow gut goddesses. If you'd like to chat about today's episode, send me a DM on Instagram at beyond.bloated. Until next time, bye!